At the end of a long day traversing the White Mountains, when the sun has laid down behind the horizon and the shush of the forest descends, you sit by the campfire and crack open a cold beverage of your choice. Surrounded by friends or family, you realize this is the best possible place you could be right now. This is the feeling that Jake Swamp and the Pine captures with their music. The name Jake Swamp and the Pine provides the context as it was inspired by the Jake Swamp pine tree, the tallest tree in Massachusetts, and is honoring Jake Swamp, a prominent environmentalist. Jake Swamp and the Pine songs range from the powerful acoustic anthems to knee-slapping hoedowns to slow and somber waltzes, drawing the diverse influences from Americana, folk, singer-songwriter, bluegrass, and jam band traditions. With a collection of original songs and covers of artists, there's always something to stomp, clap, or holler along to. Today, my guest is Drew Zieff from Jake Swamp and the Pine. Hello, Drew. How are
Hello,
I was
Mark.
going to
Thank
say
you for
hello,
having me.
Jake.
You wouldn't be the first, and you won't be the last.
I love that you are connected with nature and
Yeah,
you attribute the song the name the band name to an environmentalist. That's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. We were at a club. Currently, Jake Swamp and the Pine is just me, and then I bring along musicians um, to kind of make the sound as big as possible. But one life of the project was me and a mandolin player, Stu, and we were at Lizard Lounge, which is a club in Cambridge, Mass, doing open mic, and needed to come up with a name. And Drew and Stu was silly, we didn't see longevity in that. So we were furiously Googling things that were representative of the outdoors in Massachusetts because we're passionate about, both of us love the outdoors. And the band's hometown was in Massachusetts. And the Jake Swamp pine tree came up and it felt perfect. So, 3, 4 years later, the name stuck. People don't know that my name is actually Drew.
You look like a Jake. You don't look
I
like a
know.
Drew.
I get that. I know. I can see that. I've just learned to embrace it and respond to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm excited to carry that name because it's named after the tree, which is named after a prominent environmentalist that was based in Massachusetts.
that's cool. I want to look up that tree now and go find it.
I had someone go to it's in the Mohawk State Forest, I believe, which is in like near North Adams area
Yep.
of Massachusetts. And I had someone try to go there during the winter, but they closed down one of the access roads. So I don't think they made it to the tree itself. I admittedly haven't made a pilgrimage out there, but would like to at some point.
Well, let me know when you want to go. Road trip.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
So,
I'm in.
are you originally from the Boston area?
I am. Yeah, I grew up in Central Mass, and then lived in Boston for uh, maybe 8, 9, 10 years, and now back in Central Mass in a different town than when I grew up in.
Have you always been connected to nature?
Honestly, no. It's only something that I think I've found passion for within the last 6, 7 years. I think I've always appreciated it, especially when I was growing up. We, did a lot of family hiking trips. Um, and I think I put up with it more than I sought it out as I do now that I'm older. Um, and within like the last maybe 6, 7 years, maybe a little more, that's really when I've started to enjoy and seek time out in the woods and through whatever means necessary, hiking, biking, climbing, camping, backpacking, gardening. I just love being outside.
That's cool. I heard pretty much everybody, I think, has picked up a new hobby during the pandemic.
I
What,
know.
what was your hobby that you picked up?
I tried to read a lot more than I normally do because I had time to do that. Um, and it's funny, and I don't do it as much anymore, but I got into like video games because it was a way for me, mostly not so much to play video games, but to be able to play with friends. So I have a lot of my friends that I'm still really close with are all around the country, New Orleans, Vermont, California,
That,
and
that's quite the opposite of this whole getting back to
I
nature.
know. I know. Well, nature had all hiking had always been a hobby. So I guess a new hobby was that because it was a way for me to connect with people that I didn't see and couldn't see. Um, I definitely upped the amount of hikes and outdoor trips that I went on, and uh, that had always been a huge part of my life. But yeah, it's fun reading and just trying to connect virtually with friends in ways that I hadn't before. And then with my now fiance, we did a ton of hiking, and some camping too.
I think you also picked up fishing from what I gathered.
Unsuccessfully, mostly
I
because
was,
I have I wrote a song artist. Yeah, it's I really tried and I wanted to like it because I was like, what's better than like standing by a beautiful body of water? Um, and to me, a lot of things. Because I'm not great at being still. I'm standing right now and I'm shifting my weight. So fishing, which requires a lot of finesse and patience, are two things that aren't adjectives I think anyone would use to describe me.
it's definitely not for everybody, but I'm glad that you tried at least.
Yeah, I enjoyed walking to the place that I was fishing, and then I'd spend like 30 minutes just kind of like, you know, moving around, and then I'd give up and I'd take the long route back.
You released an album back in December of 2022, Simpson and Banks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It harbor I see that it harbors a familiar longing to be still, enjoying the moment and following your dreams, all while
yeah,
reflecting on the memories that have shaped your youth.
yes.
So you collaborated with a lot of cool artists that I'm familiar with, like Darling Side, the Wolf Sisters, Adam Ezra Group.
Yeah, yeah, I was really fortunate. Dawn had always has been a friend for a little while now. And again, when the pandemic hit, Stu, who was my counterpart, it's so historically it had just been me and a mandolin player. So we recorded an EP, and we really wanted it to be like, hey, if you went and saw a Jake Swamp and the Pine concert live, this is what it would sound like. Which in some cases is the antithesis of recording, or the opposite of what you want when you record an album. But we really wanted to just, single guitar, single mandolin, lead vocal, harmony, and then we started to introduce like some percussion that we realistically could do live because that was the goal. Stu ended up leaving the band to go back to or to go to law school, and we're still really, really, really close. Um, and then I was kind of directionless when it came to live music because and music in general because the pandemic hit, so I wasn't playing as much. Um, and I just had this spark of inspiration, like, hey, I should just write an album. And I'm a solo artist now, and I can do whatever I want. So I've been fortunate enough to um, make a lot of really, really talented friends over the past couple of years, like Dawn from Darling Side and Josh Gold, who toured with Adam Ezra Group for a little while and has since had a really awesome career in production. And Rachel Wolf, who's a guitarist in Wolf Sisters, and Jonathan Ullman, who drums for a group, a really, really amazing hip hop group called Still Gold. And like, what uh, better way to make this album as amazing as possible than get musicians who are much better than I am at what they do and lean on them for what they think the song calls for from their kind of domain of expertise. So Don introduced me to Oyen, who's also in Darling Side, who played mandolin. Don did some lap steel lead guitar and banjo. Rachel did some lead guitar. Uh, and then I had Francis Hickey, who was a touring bass player with Adam Ezra Group for a number of years, play bass. So, um, yeah, I was really, really lucky to that they were willing to entrust their names and associate themselves with me in the album.
That's cool. I'm always happy to spotlight collaborations between artists, and those are some great names that
Yeah,
you work with.
yeah. I mean, it was those are my favorite sessions too, because um, similar to fishing, I can sometimes sometimes being in the studio is a little still for me, and it's something that I'm working on. But it was always just an absolute blast to bring Don in and watch him do these, takes on my songs and like, kind of uh have these ideas of like, well, what if I try this? And I'm like, do whatever you want and whatever you think the song needs. Um, and especially Rachel sessions were some of my favorite because we would do these takes and be like, all right, Rachel, just kind of like rip through some lead guitar on this. And every time my mind was just like blown watching her play guitar. But yeah, it was those are my favorite sessions is watching other people kind of do what they're amazing at.
Drive, Drive, Drive reflects the need to escape by throwing on your favorite songs, turning off your distractions, and driving with a clear mind, according to the Ritz Herald. I often drive north, and I'm actually going to be going up there soon, so I'm going to make sure I listen to
Please.
Jake Swamp and the Pine on my next trip. Absolutely, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an anthem for me. And I was really, really happy with how that one came out from a production standpoint, with Josh at the helm.
I think the song titles alone off the album elicit a desire to listen on their own. Just the song titles alone, like Drive, 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 Cigarettes and Coffee, Empty Stomachs and Bloodshot Eyes. I tried to get high and write a song. Don't Be Afraid of Sundays, Wrong Train, Right Track. Do you start with a cool idea and come up with a perfect song title, or is it the other way around?
It really depends. Don't Be Afraid of Sundays and Wrong Train, Right Track. I thought of the title first, and then the like a general idea of what that song could be. And then I wrote with that as like a prompt. Um, I tried to get high and write a song. That was an exercise. Just when I get writer's block, I'll just as an exercise for my own self write about how I have writer's block. So I tried to get high and write a song is quite literally just about ways that someone could get out of their own head and create. And I was like, this is kind of a cool song, and I think it's like really fitting because it's a song about trying to write a song, and it felt right to put on the album. Um, and then Drive, Drive, Drive uh, came from the song because I was like, I want to do like a catchy chorus I can hear people singing. And all I got to do is drive, drive, drive. And Go by Darkness. That was, that just came. I wrote the song, and then I was like, I need to pull out something from this song as the title.
Very cool. So you're going to be at the Black Bear Americana Music Fest, and
Yeah,
are you performing? You said by yourself.
I am. Yes, I'll be doing a solo set on Sunday at the acoustic stage.
Very cool. I definitely looking forward to watching you. And um, do you have a moment to play a quick game?
Yeah, of
Let me
course.
let me pull this up. It's called Lyrical Ponderings. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you a song title, and the song
Okay.
title is in the form of a question. You can either tell me who sang the song or answer the question.
Oh no, I might be really bad at this.
We'll see. You might get lucky. Give me a number between 1 and 201.
1 and 201. 167.
You got to make me scroll down here. All right. Here we go. How long will I love you?
Oh man, I definitely do not know who wrote this. Uh, oh no. I guess for the duration of the interview. Who wrote that stuff? What
That,
song is that?
that was Ellie Goulding from 2013.
Oh, okay. That is wow. I did not know that. I'm not super familiar with Ellie Goulding.
So the answer was until the end of the interview.
That's great. I like that game.
Drew, thank you very much for joining me, and
Of course.
definitely looking forward to seeing you at the Black Bear Americana Music Festival, October
Awesome.
6th through the 8th, and you'll be performing on the 8th of October.
Mhm.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Drew.
Thank you so much for having me.